Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets we hear the bombs bursting in air give proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning. Welcome to the 95th Dear Lanadee podcast. I've been having a very difficult time recording this. This is my third attempt. Part of my problem, Peaches. She is a handful. I can't ignore her, and I can't get her out of the way. So she's just going to glue herself to my side and possibly be a part of this podcast. I don't know. We'll find out. I do hope our time together is going to put a smile on your face and hope in your heart. Do you have something you'd like to talk about? Then this is the podcast for you. Michael has been doing wonderfully, really has. He enjoys this weather, has been going out on his boat, but let me tell you, the fishing is not the best. We live on a lake that does not really find itself the place to have a fishing experience. It's a pleasure lake. So you go out with your boat and you'll have probably 5 jet skis circling you. He's been having a difficult time. The other day he went out fishing and hoping to catch a few. So when he came into the garage, I looked out there and I said to him, "So, did you bring home supper?" And in typical Michael fashion, he said, "Yes, if you're not too hungry." But he still gets out there and tries. Peaches, let's talk about her just a little bit. You heard the song that I posted? Yes, Peaches has a real issue with fireworks, but that's okay, because so do I. So she and I stayed inside, and I'm still trying to break her of barking every time she hears the latest pop or the noise she doesn't understand. She is growing up. 6 months old. Actually, she's nearly 7. She is 7 tomorrow, and she's showing her age. What do I mean by that? Well, she's taking on a whole new personality from that cute little bundle of fur that I had when I picked her up, looked at her and said, "Yes, come to my home." I guess that's bound to happen, isn't it? They do grow up, but I just never know what I'm going to have next. In fact, this morning I was mailing a package, so I was watching for the mailman to come, and he brought up a few boxes. I sell things once in a while. I need a box to stick it in. I've been doing a few things with eBay recently, and I needed a box, so he came to the door. Now, you need to know that Peaches has always been the most loving, sweet, wonderful dog. In fact, I can barely hold her when my daughter comes over. All she wants to do is get away from me and into her arms. But when the mailman came, I could not believe it. She went Sid Vicious on me. Really. And I actually put her in the other room so I could open the door to get the items that he brought for me. shocked me. I don't mind telling you. She just has so many different facets to her personality. In fact, we've thought about renaming her Vicious. Let me tell you, Peaches went to the groomers the other day, and that's only happened once before. I know she was afraid last time, but I was hoping, because I'd done the things that they had told me to do, I was hoping she would be more content going this time, not so afraid. I've run I've run my hair dryer, I've brushed her almost daily, so I thought she was ready. Well, when I went back to pick her up, I was surprised to find a lengthy, detailed note that filled up the entire, they call it a paw card, and it said basically that Peaches is not going to be welcome back next time if she doesn't change her ways, because she not only bites, she bites hard. What? I was shocked. I really was. I didn't know Peaches would act like that. But apparently she doesn't want anything to do with the clippers. The lady told me she had to basically hand cut her. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. PetSmart is the one that I took her to. I thought this would be a good experience, but it wasn't. And so I'm very concerned. I know there are other groomers out there, but I have a lot of work to do with her between now and her next visit, or I'm in big trouble, because she's the type of dog that has to be groomed. She has nice, beautiful, soft, silky hair, but it does mat if it's not taken care of. But more importantly, she loses her eyesight if we don't have her groomed. Her hair grows right over her eyes. So that's certainly something I'm concerned about. The other thing, oh, Peaches, please, I'm podcasting. The other thing she did, I have to share this with you. I want to tell you that Michael's been very busy redoing our porch and side yard with metal. You see, Peaches decided she wanted out, and she chewed right through the lattice, the plastic lattice we had, and found that she could. So from that moment on, even though I patched that hole, she looked for every way she could to get out, and she had no problem chewing another one. So Michael has had to replace all the plastic lattice with a metal type of fencing. So I'm hoping it will do. He's also put some boards up on the door that we have, and I saw today while I was sitting out here that she stands right up and looks over it. So I'm thinking maybe one more board might be helpful. Needless to say, she's been a handful for me. My grandkids, they're gone, and it has been difficult for me. You see, my daughter's children went to stay with their dad in Missouri, and my daughter's husband, Vince, his children went to Italy. Fortunately for me, the very day they were leaving, who shows up? My son, Jeffrey, and his son, Logan. We had a wonderful time. It was so good seeing them. Jeff rarely gets to come this way. He's actually just started a new job working as a correctional officer in a ladies' prison. Jeff always seems to be able to find exciting jobs, and this is one. I don't mind telling you. He's halfway through his training, doing well, and he looks great in his uniform. Well, back to Logan. Logan is 3. And again, I don't often talk about Logan because I haven't had the privilege of spending much time with him. But we did have a great time together. And he's everything you would expect from a 3-year-old boy, and then some. He's full of life. When Logan was playing one day, he looked at me and said, "I'm so happy." And he really is. Logan is the kind of child that lights up a room as he systematically takes it apart. I don't remember if Jeff was ever that exciting as a 3-year-old, but I have a feeling he did inherit some of his zeal for life. And I don't think at first that I was going to be able to keep up. But we settled in a rhythm and had a great time. One day we went outside and we had a water fight. That's always fun. And I think Logan won. He got Grandma more soaked than she got him. He is just a fantastic little boy. When Logan got ready to go home, He hesitated while getting in the car. I just knew he would have liked to have stayed longer, and I would have loved it had he been able to. And I gave him his final hug and kiss. He looked at me and he said, "Grandma, you come too?" Oh, that just broke my heart. But it made me realize that I have to see more of Logan, more often. I thought that I would have a lot of downtime, some time to fill, because you know how that goes when you're so used to doing something like I've been and taking care of all the kids. I thought for sure I'd be lonely, so I signed up with SingSnap again. I used to use that website. It allows me a place to sing and to sing with other people and record, and I'll be sharing songs from time to time with that. But you see, I've had this time where I thought for sure I was going to be able to do a few things I wanted to do. No. Let me tell you what happened. You remember, of course, my leg. Well, my leg's better, and it should be. I've been sitting a lot. The reason? Well, my daughter and I went to I think it was the night or the night after the children left, my daughter and I went to see Finding Dory. Now, why would we go to see a children's movie? Well, it's what was showing, and we really did want to see it because we both liked the Finding Nemo movie. And so we went there, saw the movie. It was cute. It's really a nice moral story. It's a nice story with a moral. But I did read a comment somewhere that said that if you have a child that's been adopted, you might want to talk with them before you go. And there's some truth to that statement because she's feeling guilty. Dory's feeling guilty for losing her parents and talks about it quite a bit through the whole story and just misses her parents so badly. But anyway, back to my part of the story. As we got ready to leave, you know how they roll the credits? Well, it was still quite dark in there, and everyone went ahead. I even let the back row go, and as I was finding my way down, I apparently thought there was one more step, or I missed a step. Can't tell you exactly how it happened, but I fell down the step. I was never so embarrassed. I mean, laying there, like a beached whale on the ground. If it hadn't been that a lady saw me and called for someone, an usher or something, I probably would have still been there. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't get up. My knee hurt, my fingers hurt, my toes hurt, and I started to cry. I was humiliated. This gentleman tried to help me up. He says, "Can I help you up?" I thought, "No, you can't lift me." No, seriously, I was just embarrassed. And I said, I would just rather he let me alone and let me crawl out. Honestly, that is what I would have liked to have done. They wanted to know if I wanted an ambulance. No, I don't want an ambulance. I just wanted to be left alone. I wanted everyone to walk away. Leave me alone. They asked me if I wanted to fill out a form. Stupid me. I said no. And I injured my foot. Hit that and my knee and a few other things. But this foot has been giving me grief. It's been, I believe it's been a month since I injured my foot, and I'm still wearing a black shoe, one of those hard shoes. Let me tell you about my doctor's appointment. You guessed it. I went there, he looked twice, and he assumed my little toe was fractured because they can't really tell that, but if it's black and blue, it's swelled up and it's giving you trouble, chances are it's fractured. But do you know they don't do a thing for that? But the rest of my foot, this is my second visit yesterday. And now my problem is my foot is going numb. I'm thinking, surely there's more going on here. So I went to see him. He did the second x-ray, and he came back and said, "No, I don't see any more fracture." And I looked at him with frustration. I said, "Why is it numb? Why am I not able to wear a shoe? Why does it continually swell up?" And I think he had pity on me, because I am not kidding you. This is what he said. Right before you fracture, I think your foot is right at that verge, just right before the fracture. Everything that happens to a foot when you fracture it is there, but just not the fracture. So I think you have all the symptoms of someone who was almost fractured. Give me a break. I had prayed before I went in there, and I thought, I need more explanation. We talked about the numbness, and he said, well, I'm not ready to do an MRI to find out if you've actually got nerve damage. And as I said, I prayed before, so I just started speaking. I like to think a doctor's going to tell me what's wrong, but I realize in my life, I have to be the doctor. So I came up with a plan, and this is what I said. Well, what if I go to a regular doctor? I haven't had a physical in a long time. Make sure that there's not something else going on. Make sure that my sugar isn't high. Now, I don't have diabetes, but why is my foot numb? Do I have neuropathy? Is that possible? So he agreed with everything I said. So I called the doctor's office yesterday, and of course there was no one who could set up an appointment for me because they were too busy. But what they did say is they'd call me back today and set up an appointment. So I'm waiting for that. I'm going to have blood work done. I'm going to talk to them about my foot and see if maybe there is something else going on. Honestly, I don't think so. He's probably right. I need to just put my foot up another month. Really? Well, he said I could switch out of this hard boot into my tennis shoe, but I can't. It hurts too badly. So that's the story of my life. Do you believe it? I have a almost just on the verge fractured foot, but not fractured. Give me a break. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, needless to say, it has kept me in my chair. I'm not happy about it, but that's my life. God, please bless America. God bless America, land that I loved. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home. Well, I'll be honest with you. I truly have been unhappy about being so curtailed, sitting so much. I am tired of sitting. And I saw this saying the other day when I was feeling sorry for myself, and it said, when life knocks you down, you're in the perfect position to pray. There's some truth to that. And so I realize I've been suffering in silence just too long. Seriously. I really have. What I do when I have a problem, and this happens quite a bit in my life, is I ignore it. I ignore it completely. Like the time when I was having swelling in my legs. I didn't even realize that that's what was going on. But I found it one day. I got up and I could barely walk. I didn't know what was going on, so I made an appointment for my doctor. He took one look at my legs and chewed me out. He said, "Look at you. You're so swollen. Your legs, the blood vessels are breaking on the surface. You need to get some type of water pill or something." I don't know what caused the problem, but I totally ignored it. And that is kind of what I wanted to do here. And so we soothe ourselves, don't we? Instead of going to the one who can truly help us, the great physician, who can help us deal with our impatience and the problems we're going through, what we do is we soothe ourselves. And boy, have I been soothing myself. I have been reading nonstop. I've been watching marathon shows. I found one called Arranged on, I think it's FYI, and it was about couples that had not picked out their future spouses. They married because someone set them up, either their parents or their friends. I watched an entire season and a half in one day. I just was going nonstop, doing what I wanted to do. And then I got that sing snap, and I began singing and just keeping myself busy with that, just really trying to fill up every waking moment so I didn't have to think about what was really bothering me. You know, our problems in life are called tribulations. And I'm sure you've heard that word, and it's trials and problems. And honestly, we are supposed to deal with our tribulations, not ignore them. And we have tribulations for a purpose. And there's a couple of quotes I have from a minister called Rick Joyner, and I'd like to share them with you. Tribulation comes with every life on earth, but in Christ we can expect more, because, you heard me, we can expect more. Tribulations come with every life on earth, but in Christ we can expect more, because we live a life that's contrary to the way this world tells you you should live. And even as Christians, our trials have a purpose. God causes all things to benefit us. This foot, yes, even this foot. Not to mention that the Holy Spirit has comfort for us, and we can go to Him and He will comfort us. You know, there is a teaching that is not what the Bible teaches. And some of the churches even teach this. They say that if we become a Christian, that our life will get easier. In fact, that's not the case, because we don't live in a world that God is ruling and reigning over just yet. We have an enemy of our souls that is ruling and reigning right now, and his name is the devil. And because of him, he likes to see our lives in turmoil, and he likes to see us suffer. I realized recently that I was also trying to mask my frustrations. But honestly, nothing in my life is going to satisfy me, because nothing I long for more than to just be in His presence. Is that understandable to you? Ever since I was a young girl, the most joy I've ever had in my life was being in God's presence. And so I kind of wonder if this trial wasn't to bring me back to reality. I don't know. I'm still going through it. I don't have all the answers. Rick Joyner went on to say, what we need to be is patient. We need to hold on and persevere. Romans 5:1. I like Romans. Being justified by faith, then we have peace with God. Our peace comes through our Lord Jesus Christ. And in Romans 5:3 he said, not only, but we also glory in our tribulations. Glory? Well, I guess what he's saying is we should realize when we're going through tribulations that there is a purpose. And part of it is to teach us patience. Why do we need patience? Look around you. This world has gone mad. Part of it is because everyone wants everything now. And with our patience, we can experience hope. What is that hope? Well, there is a life besides the one in my chair with my foot up and ice on it, and the frustration of not being able to walk in a grocery store, having to use a cart, Peaches, I'm talking, having to use one of those wheelchairs, a motorized wheelchairs. I hate it. People look at me like there's nothing wrong with you except maybe a weight problem. Then I pull my foot out so they can see there's something more. Well, I have to have patience, and I have to know that there is a better life. You know, there's a life coming, and we can have joy in this world, but also we have that life to come. Rick Joyner also said, true Christianity is a life of sacrifice, not a basis for attaining the things of this world. So my life in this world isn't just to read every book. It isn't to just, buy every piece of software I see. True Christianity is a life of sacrifice, not a basis for attaining the things of this world. Rather, it's for the ultimate attainment in our lives to come. If we live for the Lord's sake and not just for the benefits we might get, we will find true life and God's kingdom. I know that there's a purpose. He also said trials come upon everyone who lives. So while we may seem like we're having our share and more, those without Christ, their trials can make even a castle feel like a dungeon. That's true. And again, I think part of what I've been going through has been to kind of give me the reality wake-up call. Another person I like to read when I am reading my devotions and such is a gentleman by the name of James Ryle, or Real. I just don't know. But he created a devotion called Ryleisms or Realisms. And he wrote about trials also. When I woke up from a really bad dream that I had, I don't even think I want to go into the details of the dream. It was a really bad dream. But it shook me enough to know that I just want to spend less time reading, less time watching television, less time filling every waking moment of my life, and I want more time in his presence. He wrote about trials, and I just want to read this to you because I think this is what we need to realize. When we're going through a problem, any problem, my foot, my leg, I can have a problem no one else sees, but I know it's real because it's happening to me. And he wrote an article called The God Who Can Handle It. Let me read that also. The Lord is sitting in his sacred temple on his throne in heaven. He knows everything we do because he sees it all. Psalms 11:4. There is no snooze button anywhere in the proximity of God, and that's everywhere. He's the unsleeping God. He never dozes off in slumber, nor drifts away in idle daydreams. He is always on the job and always in charge. He is the God who can handle it. He is both all-powerful and intimately personal. He holds the universe in his hands and yet knows the number of hairs that are on each head. He calls each and every star by name and yet feels pain each time a sparrow falls to the ground. He is the God who can handle it. The psalm goes on to tell us he's in charge as always, his eyes taking everything in, his eyelids unblinking, examining Adam's unruly brood inside and out, and not missing a thing. God does not sit in heaven, wringing his hands in anxious concern over the alarming state of affairs in our baffling world. He is in charge. He is not clueless to the scheming of godless people who seek to build a society without his blessings. He's in charge. He's not rattled by the bloating plans of overheated brains for how we here can save ourselves, needing no help from heaven whatsoever. He's in charge and he can handle it. So, whatever it is that's going on in life, in your life, know this for certain. It is well within his reach. He can handle it. That's why you need to let him. When doubts arise and fears dismay, when foes oppose you and friends forsake you, when the bottom drops out and you're left holding an empty bag, and your castles all crumble while your dreams turn to ashes, he is the God who can handle it. So trust him. Hold tight to your faith in his faithfulness, for he will see you through it all. And when the storm passes, as it surely will, the new day will be filled with his presence, with the endless possibilities he provides for you. While others around you are falling in fear, you stand firm. Trust the Lord, because he is the God who can handle it. I loved that devotional, and it was just what I needed to hear. I've got to stop filling up every waking moment, even though I am tired of sitting in my chair. I need to do what I did yesterday. Michael and I went out. We went to that doctor. But on the way back, we looked in the sky, and it was filled with the most beautiful white clouds. We just admired them at every stoplight. We saw this one cloud, and I kid you not, it looked as if someone had carved the letter C into it. And Michael said to me, C is for Christ. And it truly is. So I want to sit outside more, even though it means I don't necessarily get to do what I want. Peaches will make sure of that. And I want to just take in the beauty. He is found everywhere and in everything. So whatever you're going through today, I hope something I've said has helped you. Are you going through a problem? Are you going through a trial? Are you going through tribulation? That's a lot of trials, isn't it? If you are, I want you to know that God is there to help you. Well, our time is over, and I just want to say that I'm here. I'm your friend. You can write me at dearlanadee, that's dear, L-A-N-A-D-E-E, @gmail.com. Visit my website. I just hope and pray that you have a wonderful day. Don't forget who loves you. The Lord loves you, and so do I. Until next time, I remain your friend, Lanadee.